It's sugar water, dude.
Give me sugar and water.
Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just science, look it up, it's totally a fact. Today we are jumping right back into r/NeckbeardStories, you know how we do. Today we've got possibly a new series where we're going to meet Devilbeard, and we also have Deadpoolbeard making his triumphant return, so big shout out to Peach Gatorade for posting those stories for us, and she also gave me a really nice shout out in the story. But first things first, we're gonna meet Devilbeard, so without any further delay, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Dungeon Poppy's Beard Encounters, Volume 1, Devilbeard. I apologize in advance for any mistakes as I'm posting this from mobile, and this is my first ever post. Recently, I've been listening to NeckbeardStories on YouTube, Walter Fate, ReddX, Fun with Failure, ooh, that's the big three, baby. And thus, I was inspired to share my own tales. I've had the displeasure of a few Neckbeard encounters, but I'm starting with my former best friend, who we will call Devilbeard, because he's obsessed with Devil May Cry. This is a very Neckbeardy series. Although it doesn't get as much play as some other Neckbeard series I can think of. It's kinda under the radar. Anyways, OP is gonna call themselves Dungeon Poppy, or DP, but I'm gonna call him OP, because he loves Dungeons and Dragons. And the girl of my dreams / mother of my child calls me Papi. Papi Chulo! This all started when I was in 8th grade. The area I lived in didn't have a middle school, so the elementary school was kindergarten through 7th grade, and the high school was 8th through 12th grade. Now I was, and to an extent still am, your stereotypical looking emo kid. The skinny jeans, guy liner, the bangs, obsession with Fall Out Boy and Pete Wentz. But I was also, of course, and still am, a huge nerd. Anime, Star Wars, gaming, manga, comics. I love it all, and was very open about my interests. Has nobody else ever heard the phrase guy liner? I think that's killer. I was sitting by myself at lunch one day, when someone slammed a binder and textbooks down in front of me. I look up from my food to see a really pale guy staring at me and smiling. He had what I can only describe as pubes on his neck and chin, and he was sporting a gray shirt that read, "Not wearing underwear." Thanks for the info.
Do you like Naruto?
He asked me. Yeah, I replied. Have you ever seen a vagina up close? Now, I'm not proud of that response, and I'm aware that I was kind of a dick, but he stared at me for a few seconds before losing it in laughter.
I like you already,
he said, and I couldn't help but smile at his amusement. Once he stopped laughing, he proceeded to show me his self-inserted Naruto fanfiction, cringe, which I admit looked pretty good to be amateur drawn. This moment blossomed into somewhat of a bromance. So was it fan art or fan fiction? He drew a fan fiction? Whatever. Devilbeard and I started hanging out. We'd call each other on the phone, and for the most part it was enjoyable, but there were a few less than desirable traits. For one, his obsession with Devil May Cry. Whenever he did something that he thought was cool, he would say, "Stylish," like the ranking system in the games. And he would also try to imitate the game's protagonist, Dante.
It's like staring into a backed up toilet.
He could be racist and homophobic at times. He considered fedoras smooth looking and would intimidate Michael Jackson every time he wore one, and his other fashion sense was just graphic tees or retro video game and anime merch. He openly talked about catgirls and hentai and how he could only get off by watching it. Oh no. Sometimes he would leave weird voicemails of himself breathing heavy or making sex sounds, but the cringe and the weirdest thing that even I, his best friend at the time, thought was insane was his inner demon named Quadrid. Oh god. This wasn't a metaphor or anything. He would really say he had a demon trapped inside himself, known as Quadrid. He would sometimes go silent in conversation, and then speak in a slightly deeper voice, and claim to not remember the conversations because
it was his demon.
And his movements were so dramatic and cartoony. He would roar, literally roar, and hold his breath until he turned blue, and that behavior lasted a while, and then it disappeared over the course of a summer. Thank God. I had one of my most memorable birthdays because of Devilbeard, however. It was my 16th, and by then we'd been friends for almost 2 years. My other friend and I, we'll call him Sarge, got off the bus at Devilbeard's. I asked Devilbeard if he had something to drink, and he said,
Yeah, man, I gotcha.
He goes into the kitchen, puts sugar in a glass, and fills it with hot water, stirring it with his finger. What the fuck is this? I asked.
It's sugar water, dude.
Give me sugar in water.
Was his reply. I wish I could tell you that I didn't try it, but I'm also someone who once snorted a whole pack of Kool-Aid during a game of Jackass. For a bit, it was actually fun. We played Dead Rising 2 on the Wii. Devilbeard had left the room, and Sarge and I were laughing and having fun, when suddenly we hear Devilbeard.
OP, can you come in here? I want to show you something.
I go to find him in his mother's room. I walk through the door, and he grabbed me, shoving me into the small pile of clothes that his mom had on her bed. He then forced my face into a pair of his mom's panties. God.
Happy birthday, OP.
He said, laughing as he rubbed his mother's unmentionables in my face. I managed to shake him off and pull away with a, dude, what the fuck? Now, I'll admit, yes, his mom was a complete MILF. Yes, I had told him that his mom was hot numerous times, and maybe under different circumstances, I would have maybe enjoyed having her panties shoved in my face, but this was not that circumstance. Devilbeard continued to laugh as if he thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I wasn't thrilled, but I laughed as well, returning to Sarge to continue the game. After a few minutes, Devilbeard came in and handed each of us a soda. And no, it wasn't Mountain Dew, it was Dr. Pepper, which might as well be the secondary go-to for Neckbeards, right? Devilbeard asked
if we wanted to watch one of his movies.
But when we asked what he had, he said,
The best.
And showed us his collection.
Called hentai, and it's art.
Which had Cloud Atlas, both live Mortal Kombats, and Robot Chicken Season 3. We declined the movie offer. After a while, his sister came home. We'll call her C. She walked in and saw who was there and said,
Hey, OP!
Hey, I replied. What you up to?
About to watch Hellcats. Just wanted to see if Devilbeard was lying about having some friends over.
C and I had always been back and forth flirting with each other, basically from the moment we met, so I went and joined her on the living room couch to watch her show. Brow chick brow brow, Hellcats and chill. We sat at opposite ends with our backs to the couch arms, facing each other. We gossiped and joked, and I noticed that she had started rubbing her feet on mine. Footsie.
Can I paint your nails?
She asked. This wasn't a weird question to me, considering that I sometimes painted my own nails black, so I said yes. She painted my nails in orange, and I started being a bit more flirty, more so than usual. I insist that she helps me take the polish off, and she leads me to the bathroom that everyone shares. She has my hand in the sink with the water running, but she'd bent over to do so, and she was pushing herself back into me.
Does she know what she's doing?
Dude, what are you doing?
Devilbeard yelled, and I thought he was upset over the situation, but no.
You're supposed to be hanging out with me, not her.
He was jealous that I was hanging out with his sister instead of him. Needless to say, nothing ever happened with C, and I resided back to chill with Sarge and Devilbeard. Other highlights of that night include Devilbeard waking me up by beating me with a bat. What? Devilbeard taking Sarge and I to his basement and telling us a story about a mailman who had died and his wife had put his body in that very basement, and hitting me in the face with a broom after making me trip over the board game Sorry, to which Devilbeard said,
I said sorry.
Dude needs to start one of those YouTube prank channels, or they call them social experiments now. Douchebag. Fast forward about a year, and Sarge had a get-together at his place. He had a few people over, some of which I didn't know, but the most important one we'll call Ozai, who I'm pretty close with to this day. We had an evening of shenanigans, and people that didn't go home stayed the night. Me, Devilbeard, and Ozai were among those that stayed. There wasn't a lot of places to sleep, but I got lucky enough to get a spot on the bed. But Ozai made a place under the computer at the foot of the bed. I had drifted off to sleep and hadn't been asleep very long before I hear Ozai yell, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I hear Devilbeard reply,
Sorry, man. I thought you were asleep.
Turns out Devilbeard was jerking off right over Ozai's face. He was using the computer to watch hentai, which was still playing. Upon realizing what was happening, Sarge jumped up and pulled Devilbeard, who still had his dick out, downstairs. He tossed him outside and refused to let him back in until morning. Jesus Christ, dude. Go jerk off in the shed. This post is getting a bit long. I plan on posting my other encounters, but if anyone wants more Devilbeard, I have a few more stories, including our falling out, and I may do a part 2 for Devilbeard. Hope you guys enjoyed. Jesus Christ, OP. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Am I right? I think the realization probably would have dawned that he was just a total savage when I ask him for a drink and he makes me a glass of sugar water. Bro, are you serious? What was he drinking? I hope he was drinking the same sugar water. If not, big douchebag power play move. Absolutely. I really don't understand the pranking and crap like this, if that's even what you can call it. It seems like overtly malicious, especially if OP's not pranking him back. He's like, dude, I'm not playing. And he's like, oh, yes, you are. Shoving your face into his mom's panties. Even if you like the mom, like, he could have wrapped a pair of her panties up and given it to you as like a nice present. But no, it had to be like this humiliation scenario, which I can't approve of that. Jesus. Hitting you with a broom and a bat, dude, we would have gone at it so fast. I mean, I've had fist fights with a few friends, particularly when we get like pretty piss-faced, you know, but we're both in on it. We both agreed to it. You know what I mean? This just seems kind of one-sided, like he's beating the shit out of you with a bat and you're like, haha, funny joke. So he keeps doing it because you don't punch him in his shit. I'm super glad you're not friends with this guy anymore. I'd definitely like to hear the story if you will regale us one of these days. I'll be sure to put it right in the title so people see the continuation of Devilbeard. And he definitely does seem like the devil. I mean, I know it's based on Devil May Cry, but dude, this guy's just horrible. I hate him. I'm not even going to touch on the fact that he was jerking off while he was at a friend's house. Like, oh my God. There's no fixing that. There's no way to go back. I would not have let him back in the house. I'd just be like, dude, we're not friends anymore. I can't be friends with a person like that. But anyways, speaking of continuations, weak segue, we're going to revisit Deadpoolbeard because it has another part and I'm super eager to get into it. So let's go check out what it do. Dating Deadpoolbeard, Part 2. There's some things I want to say before the rest of this train wreck of a story, so feel free to skip all this if you'd like. Firstly, part 1 of Deadpoolbeard got posted onto YouTube, and I saw some comments from Josh saying that the way I described Deadpoolbeard's cleft lip was insensitive. And I agree, I could have tackled the description of him with more tact, and I apologize. I know this doesn't justify what I said, but Deadpoolbeard said some awful things not only about me, but my parents and friends, so bear with me. Vitriolic feelings will do that, OP. You say whatever you need to say about this dude. I do know that this exchange took place in my comment section, but I think it ended out pretty well, you know? People were mostly civil and just voicing their opinions, which I definitely approve of. Anyways, also forgot to mention that Deadpoolbeard was 19 at the time of this story, so he knew exactly what he was doing. And I think that's a point that I brought up. I'm like, oh, if it's a 16-year-old and a 16-year-old, it's okay. 16-year-old and a 19-year-old, it's less okay. Maybe still in the range of okay, maybe. It's a gap, but not enough to make, you know, the story completely heinous, I guess. Secondly, ReddX, thank you for reading my story, man. Hey, I got you, OP, right here. I love your content, and hearing my experience read out with your disgusting neckbeard voice was an amazing Christmas present.
Oh, come on, it's not that disgusting. Thanks for the shout out, Preach Gatorade.
A present wrapped with old manga papers and covered with Dorito dust and grease stains. God, I hope those are grease stains. I'll never tell. That is such a nice shout out, OP. I definitely appreciate that so much. You're gonna make me fangirl. Squee. Anyways, we'll get into the story. I had just been dropped off at home from the movie theater debacle, and I was very conflicted. I'm not one to be picky with who I date as long as they treat me with some form of respect, which I have already established. Deadpoolbeard has none of that. But what Deadpoolbeard did have was manipulation tactics that I unfortunately easily fell for. Deadpoolbeard immediately began blowing up my phone as soon as I got to my room to throw myself on the bed.
Hey, E, I had an amazing night with you. I'm so lucky to have you in my life. I really don't know what I'd do without you.
Listen, Deadpoolbeard, the next time we hang out, you need to specify if we're on a date or not. I didn't realize that this was supposed to be a date. I was very uncomfortable with you just kind of randomly kissing me. Please communicate this stuff to me next time. Deadpoolbeard.
Oh God, are you going to leave me too? I'm really sorry. I just couldn't help myself. You looked amazing tonight. I just want to make you happy.
On and on with the guilt trip tactics he went, making me feel like utter garbage just for wanting to have some personal space. OP, I'm not going anywhere. I just want you to respect my personal space. I'm willing to give you a second chance if you take me out on a proper date. And that was the beginning of the end. He let me choose the restaurant, and I chose to go to this nice place called Bonefish Grill. The date was set for next weekend since I still had a bunch of schoolwork to catch up on. Over the week leading up to the date, he behaved himself fairly well. This becomes a pattern as he takes on the illusion of self-growth and then throws it all away in the presence of any woman. The day comes and I'm honestly very nervous. I do like his company when he isn't trying to guilt trip me, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. I decided to dress up a little bit since this had actually been established that this was a date. I wore a cute striped turtleneck, a necklace with an opal pendant, my favorite one, and jeans.
The best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time.
He picked me up from my house in his Deadpool mobile, greeted my parents, and off we go. We arrive at the restaurant and get to our table, and things immediately go downhill. Surprise, surprise. Deadpoolbeard.
Wow, OP, you look so beautiful.
That's all he managed to get out as he mentally undressed me in his head. He was staring directly at my chest, not even trying to hide it. I tried not to be too bothered by it. I was happy to get any sort of affection at this point. OP, thank you. You look, pretty dapper yourself. Which was true. He had actually put effort into presenting himself. A nice dress shirt, cologne, and he even removed his piercings for the occasion. He looked pretty good for a neckbeard. But as we all know, it's the beard on the inside that counts. Bruh! She said it! I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt! Anyways, we order our food, and it takes a bit longer than we expect, and his mood, slowly but surely, starts to shift. I'd picked out the restaurant, so the slight delay was obviously my fault. Deadpoolbeard.
The next time we go on a date, I'm choosing.
He put extra emphasis on the I'm, as if to imply that if he would have chosen the restaurant, it'd be better. Knowing him, he probably would have taken me to Chick-fil-A again. Strike one. Bro, that's strike 1 through 3. Our food finally gets to the table, and I just drowned myself in Bang Bang Shrimp and Calamari because I was starving and didn't get to eat that day. Deadpoolbeard.
Whoa there! Slow it down. Women don't have strong metabolism like men do.
Strike 2. OP. Look, I'm paying for my own food. I can eat it how I want. Besides, I didn't get to eat today. I always pay for my own food on the first date. Just feels more comfortable to do so. Quite nice of you, OP. Dango. I give him a harsh look, and that seemed to keep him in check for the rest of dinner. After we got our checks, we decided to drive around since we still had some time to kill. He wanted to take me to a place that he goes to
de-stress and listen to music.
We pull up next to a train cargo yard, and it is dark outside. Creep fest.
Drink it in.
Deadpoolbeard.
It's not much, but this place has gotten me through a lot of rough times in the past.
OP. It's very peaceful here. I don't want to stay here too long, though. I kind of hate being so exposed out here like this. Deadpoolbeard.
Oh, come on. I've come here every night for weeks on end, and I've never been caught. It's the perfect place to do whatever you want without getting interrupted.
I'll give him props. He did actually ask for consent to touch me. Oh, hallelujah, praise the Lord. And he put his hand on my thigh. And then he kissed me. I think he might have practiced a bit after nearly drooling on me last time because it wasn't as awful. Suddenly, headlights are pulling up behind us. I jolt away from him and start panicking, immediately assuming the worst. OP, dude, who the fuck is that? You said this place was safe. Deadpoolbeard.
Oh shit, it's my mom.
Because of course it is.
I forgot to mention, she has a GPS tracker on my phone.
Strike fucking 3. The amount of rage that I felt in that moment was indescribable. I had no intent for that night to turn sexual at all, but his mom immediately assumed that we were trying to have car sex. I immediately began to have a panic attack and curl up in the back seat. I was dead meat if my parents got wind of this. OP, why the fuck would you leave out such a crucial bit of information? I'm so dead. My parents were, and still are, extremely protective of me. They're strong believers of abstinence and will not tolerate anything of the sort. This next part's kind of a blur, and I barely remember anything except staring at that stupid Deadpool keychain hanging off his rearview mirror while simultaneously hyperventilating. Deadpoolbeard drove me home and tried to explain what happened. Not only was I worried that I would get in trouble, but Deadpoolbeard would too. I cried and prepared for the worst. And somehow, they believed that I wasn't trying to go against their wishes. I didn't get in trouble, and Deadpoolbeard apologized profusely. At this point, it's late. I'm tired, and I walked Deadpoolbeard out to his car and talked to him through his window. OP, dude, you are so lucky. I don't know how we got out of this, but I am absolutely livid. I told you to communicate with me, Deadpoolbeard. You almost got us in big trouble. Deadpoolbeard.
I downloaded this GPS spoofing app.
Basically an app that lets you change your GPS location to literally anywhere on Earth.
And the app should have still showed that we were at Bonefish.
Bonefish.
She keeps it on my phone to make sure that I go to my job. I'm sorry, Eden. I fucked everything up so bad on the first date. You can leave me if you want to. I hate myself too.
I stupidly accepted this apology, since it genuinely seemed like an accident, and his guilt tripping was getting to me. I then say my goodbyes and throw myself onto my bed, absolutely exhausted. To this day, I don't know why I accepted his apology. The man had a GPS spoofer, just so that he could sneak away from his job. Oh, God. Not only that, he could have taken me anywhere and done even worse things to me. Do not do what I do, kids. Don't trust a neckbeard. Especially once they've been identified as such. You need to nip that in the bud. I'm so sorry if this story isn't up to standard with my last one, but it's Christmas Day, and I'm exhausted to say the least. There's much more to tell about this big brain man, and I can't wait to share. Merry Christmas, everyone. I never try to compare parts of a saga, but if we're going to, I definitely think that this one stacked up to the first part, don't you guys? I like OP's writing style, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading part 3, which I'm gonna do just as soon as it pops up. I got you favorited now, bookmarked, OP. I never been to Bonefish Grill, but it sounds absolutely awesome. I'm a big fan of seafood, especially them shrimps and calamari. Dang, that sounds awesome. Probably a little more than a neckbeard would be willing to spend. I think that he probably would have offered to pay if you were eating like a bird, you know? But he saw you tucking in and he's like, oh crap, okay, good thing she's paying. What was his job? What does he do? What job could a neckbeard possibly maintain for an extended period of time? I guess the reason that he maintains it is because he has mommy crawling up his butt. 19 years old, oh man. By 19, boy, I was already in the Navy, ready to do the thing, working 16-hour days. Need to send this boy to boot camp, get him into ship shape. Although, you know, it won't necessarily fix his lady problems. I did know my fair share of neckbeards in the Navy, but I suppose we'll get into that another time for another video when I decide to sit down and write my memoirs or something like that. I'm pretty surprised. Deadpoolbeard does not seem as horrible as some of the other neckbeards that we've seen on the channel. You know, he actually is making an attempt to clean himself up and be decent, but he just can't help himself. The neckbeard instinct is so innate inside of him that it just starts leaking out. And it is a fascinating case study, I gotta say that. I really want to know how it all blows up, but I guess for now, we're going to have to wait. But I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this episode, friends. I hope that you will like, comment, and or subscribe. If you did, check out the link swarm in the description. We've got PayPal for one-time donations, Patreon for recurring donations. If you'd like to reach out, get to know me a little bit further, we got that Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and also my other channel, which does some gaming stuff on it. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. We've got Damon Darkstar, Lady Nix, Crimson Albedo, Dot Nathan, Robert Waits, Just Austin, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, and the big boy, Barlos Bugo. Thank you guys all so much for kicking in. Help me to live the dream. Obviously, if you can donate, that is highly encouraged. If you can't, don't worry about it. I'm just glad that you spent some time with me today here on ReddX. And I also hope that you'll join us again tomorrow for some more neckbeard, legbeard, weeaboo cringe. In order to do so, you will need to keep yourself safe out there, so wash your hands as many times as needed, and also take some time out to do something for yourself today, because you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I will see you in the next one, friends, and until then, bye-bye.